we have another fine guest in the studios, a Geospatial Analyst in the person of Yusuf. He's our usual on this program, Morning Express. Good to see you. Good morning, sir.
Cynthia,
Fine.
Hope you have a nice weekend.
Yes, it was.
Oh, good morning,
And
Yusuf.
the
Thank
public holiday.
you so much for joining the program.
Good morning.
Let's have you react to an issue where Dr. Aliyu had left off. We were talking about the possibility of having President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and also the ADC's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, on a stage for a presidential debate alongside other presidential candidates at the NBA confab that is currently taking place in Port Harcourt. We had seen presidential candidates of certain political parties, including Peter Obi, Rotimi Amechi, who is running as the vice presidential candidate for the ADC, Donald Duke and the rest, having a panel discussion, there in Port Harcourt. However, the ADC is saying that if the president will not join a future presidential debate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar would also not be a part of it. Yeah. How do you react to this development?
The problem is, first of all, you have to look at the basic content and the importance of the debates. The debates are not just the optics that we need for the electioneering period. So debate is just for you to come and make statement of fact on what you can do, then challenge each other. Debate is just like the word debate. But the major thing is that the two heavyweights, I think former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they are heavyweights. Their record is in the public domain for Nigeria to at least peruse and form even their own debate on it individually. So all of them are presidential in their rating as a former president and the president. So for you to have those heavyweights comes out to a particular debate, it will be a very equivalent tax. And the organizer must do a lot of yeoman job. And for you to even have the president to attend an event because of the busy nature of the states and other activities that lined up for the president, his itinerary, I think, are very, very much. So for you to now fit in and for the president to be able to attend is a very narrow tax.
Why would you say it to be quite tasking to have the president and the former vice president to actually attend this event?
I'm talking about the president. And the former vice president does not have much on his hand. He can make himself available. But there's one thing about us in this part of the world. When we attain position of power, there is a lot of touch of arrogancy. In other climes, debate is part of the electioneering. You must, in America, for instance, you must attend the debate. It has become an integral part of.
An incumbent.
No matter how big you are, you have to be part of the debate. In fact, not attending a debate in America can make you lose an election. But in this part of the climes, we are still learning the rope. We have not integrated those media space. Then our media settings. The media setting is tailored towards maybe who is even organizing the debate. Where are they coming from? So you must look at there's a particular television station who normally organize one. But if you look at the content on that television on a daily basis, it may be skewed against or for a particular political party. So a particular political party may see the organizers as trying to bring it out, and then they will not look at it. If you look at the history of debate, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan in 2014 against Muhammadu Buhari was not present.
Yes.
In 2019, Muhammadu Buhari against the likes of Atiku was absent at the debate. So the incumbent president has made it a particular habit of not attending such a debate, because if you look at the spectrum of the Nigerian state, we have about 52 ministries. The president oversees them on a daily basis. More than 500 agencies of government that president must attend to. Some of them, throughout the years, you may not even attend to a particular agency based on how the schedule.
But of course, the president has handlers, has ministers, has aides, SAs, SSAs.
What I'm just saying is that in this part of the climb, we are not yet there.
Mr. Yusuf Muhyiddin, it's not as if the president has to physically be involved in all of these over 500 MDAs that you had mentioned. That's why the president has handlers. Do you think this is still an excuse, well enough, to say that the president is too busy to be able to attend a debate and tell Nigerians why he deserves to return as president in 2027? and also show Nigerians his antecedents and all the wonderful works that his administration has been able to do from 2023 up until date. If you recall, the Senate President had also stated while having a meeting with APC stakeholders in Uyo that the APC-led administration has enough achievements to show Nigerians for them to vote for APC come 2027. Let's just have you react and give your perspective to all of these facts laid out.
Now let me come from this point. In America, the organizers of the debates is all inclusive. CNN, the Bloomberg of this world, Fox News, and they come together, and it became an integral part of the system. Now, I just made mention of a particular station organizing a debate. And this station, if you watch 10 to 20 of their programs, 80% of the program is anti-sitting. So now, if you look at the organizers, you may look at, okay, these people are coming out, because no matter what you are doing, there will always be critics. And the debate is just, in this part of the world, it has not become an integral part of our democratic setting. In America, it's not in the law that you must even attend the debate. But the involvement of the people, like the election that just took place in Osun recently, 58% of the voter turnout. It's one of the highest we've had in recent time. Turnout of 58% of voter. The general election in Nigeria have about 38% of turnout. So you can see that even the vote, in the day that people exercise their franchise, the number is not even up to 50% yet. So now, the political party are supposed to have a mobilization strategy to bring people out on election day. We have agencies of government like the INEC, National Orientation Agency, even the media. They're supposed to go to the nooks and crannies or reach out to the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, tell them the importance of democracy. We haven't done that. That has not been achieved. Now you are talking about a debate. In Nigeria, now when you televise a debate, we have about 85 million voters. How many of them are glued to the TV set to see this debate?
So is the debate unnecessary?
What I'm not saying is that we have not, the system here has not gotten to that stage. The president,
because when you keep saying this, you sound like Nigeria is some archaic. I understand that we might be a third world country, but we are not entirely cut off from the rest of the world. We are in a live television studio right now. What we are doing is being televised on DSTV, on GoTV, on so many other channels.
Terrestrial
exactly,
TV,
terrestrial television and whatnot. It's on YouTube. It's live on so many other social media platforms. Anybody, anywhere in the world, with the click of a fingertip on their mobile device, on their tab, on their laptop, or on their television can watch us. This is just us here. So you can't tell me that just because the majority of voters who go to the polls at the end of the day might not be interested in whether a debate holds or not, then it means the debate is not necessarily something that Nigerians would want to watch. Somebody had the same assertion to the signing of the peace accord, that it's not entirely necessary. But we have seen that peace accord holding certain political office holders or political office aspirants accountable, and their supporters also being held accountable for election violence or the lack of it thereof during an electioneering period. As unimportant as these things might seem to some certain people, it also holds a lot of importance to a majority of Nigerians. Don't you think so, Mr. Yusuf?
You see, the bottom line is the debate. Now, in the constitution that grants us this election and democracy, there's nowhere the debate is mentioned as a requisite for you to win an election. That being said, in some other climate, debate have been amplified to the extent that that's where some people make informed choice. Now, let me tell you one thing. Out of our voting population, 100% of it, informed choice voters are now up to 20%. Somebody will vote because of a lenience. This person belongs to my clan. Then when it comes about merit-based votes, what is the percentage? Now, debates per se is just for people to come and make known what they are capable of doing or what they can do better if given the chance.
But if
or what they have done
you look
while
at,
in power. Let me
Mr. Yusuf Muhyiddin, before you land, if you look at the antecedents of especially reading the room and how Nigerians are perceiving some of the policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the fact that the president's handlers and even the president often come out from time to time to say that, you know what, we understand that these policies are breaking the backs of Nigerians now, but in the long run, you will begin to see the dividends of what we are doing now. We are stabilizing the economy and whatnot.
Yes.
Some people still do not believe that. Some people still don't have an understanding of that. The idea of this debate is for the president to come out himself and tell Nigerians, this is what we have done. This is where we have put our focus on. This is how Nigerians have benefited from my leadership as president. And if given another opportunity going into 2027, I am going to double up or even triple what I have been able to do for you from 2023 up until now. These are some of the reasons why such debates are important. Don't you still think so?
You see, we are just rolling on a particular point, but let me give you an instance that will widen the scope. If you travel around Lokoja down to Zuba, all the way to Kaduna, about 200 kilometers, is in concrete pavement with street lights. First of its kind in Nigeria. We have more than 17 of such roads in Nigeria. What do I need a debate for?
If you're saying what do you need a debate
as a
for?
person, I'm talking about me.
Look at it from the
what do I need
of the Senate President.
Yeah, what do
not forget that
what do I need a
few
debate
hours
for?
ago, the Senate President made
Today,
mention
you
of
can
the
travel,
fact that
hold on,
APC has a lot to say about what they've done.
You see.
Don't you think that this avenue, the debate, is one platform they can actually sample to Nigerians what they've done? Because they're so confident they've done enough. So much so, a member statesman equally mentioned that they think that the APC would even be in party 2031. So given all of these references...
The issue of the debates and our climb, the way we sit in, we have not... Okay, from Abuja here, along Maraba, down to Nasarawa State, up to Benue State. Marvelous style of road done by this administration. People are traveling, they are seeing it every day. So if you don't want to see it, you can still belong to the people that choose not to see. Now, the debates and what I've seen, which one is more important?
Let's even forget about what we have seen. Let's even talk about looking forward to the future, because I want to believe the next 4 years is going to speak to the issues they want to attend to for the next 4 years. Don't you think it's still pertinent?
Let's copy the media space in Nigeria. Let's copy from I've just told you, CNN, Bloomberg, and the likes of the Fox, and the first 5 best BBC of this world, they come together. Now, it gives it a relevance. And when the space is as, like the one they did in the NBA, it was NBA program. And they invite people to come and talk about what they have done in power or what they have not done when they're in power. Like Showore was having a rough day with former Minister of Transport. It was in the news. What I'm trying to say is that in this climate now, the organization of the media and the media space, let's talk about ADBN, for instance, and so other media stations, 10 of them. Let me give you an instance. Mr. President, former President Buhari, in his entire 8 years, he did 3 media chats. Every day, Donald Trump, Obama wakes up in the White House. After a week, you will see him addressing the media as to the state of the nation. So, and the time we see our president even addressing the press over here is maybe during public holiday or during Christmas, New Year, or in the celebration of independence.
So what are you trying to drive?
So our media engagement with our executive is even very low. Look at what Mr. Wike is doing in Abuja, as every now and then, they say he's even going to the media too much. So we need to embrace the media space. Then as the media space come together, they cannot have, say, okay, we need more. And then this debate will come from a multifaceted media angle, not some interest. The major thing is just the interest. When I look at the setup doing this media, I look at, okay, these people are just after, people have antagonized my government, I've made their media space available for the bashing of government, even when I'm doing the right thing. They have made, like, some media space have formed opposition to government. So that's why a good luck Ebele Jonathan in 2015 might have not come out. That's why maybe Muhammadu Buhari said, okay, these people still want to come and...
Mr. Yusuf, if I understand you correctly, you're saying that it is... how do I put it? It's one-sided. That's to say, the media house organizing this need to come together to actually have a more elaborate...
become an integral part of our democracy.
All right. With that being said, let's...
Well, Mr. Yusuf Muhyiddin, part of the...
And it will be a continuous, like the peace accord is said. The peace accord is not a part of our... Every year an election is coming, like the Osun election, all the parties will be brought together. So it's not in the constitution. It's nowhere that it must be done, but it's not become a tradition. So that if any party said they will not be part of it, they will now watch that party as if you have some interior motive. So going forward, we can get there. But as at now, this our climb. Let me tell you, in the world,
it's best to just remain ignorant.
No, it's not best. But you see, what is realized? Let me give you an instance. The president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he came in, is trying to decentralize the police. He's trying to decentralize even regional governance. Because of this, the setup of NDCC, like of in other political zone, the Northeast Development Commission.
That's public knowledge.
No, this is our governance space. That is even the most powerful president before now is the Nigerian president in the world in terms of what is on the president table. So what I'm trying to say is that the debate or no debate does not make any inroads yet into our democratic space. And if it will make any inroads, the media space must come in with full force just to have, like, you have a Supreme Court.
But we have had such presidential debates in the past.
But it was not sustained. That's what I'm saying.
Was it a success at the time?
The major thing is that based on this particular issue, what is the problem as an analyst? Why are they not coming out? Like Atiku will feel like if the president will not be there, I'm also presidential because the former vice president.
Mr. Yusuf Muhyiddin, let's lay
I won't be there if so president. So
lay
it's
this
interest.
Debate on the presidential debate to rest. The reason why former Vice President Atiku Abubakar had stated that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to join a presidential debate is to discuss the removal of fuel subsidy and the possibility of returning to the days of subsidy. However, we hear that confusion has rocked Atiku's fuel subsidy return campaign as different aides have issued different statements on his behalf in the last, in about 3 times in 1 week. Now, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Atiku Abubakar, has conversed for 2 seemingly conflicting options in separate statements by his media aides, Paul Ibe and Frank Shuaibu. Many Nigerians were taken aback yesterday as the 2 aides clashed over the position. Atiku, in a statement by Ibe, said he would restore subsidy if re-elected or if elected president in 2027 and phase it out later. In another statement, Shuaibu said in another statement made by Shuaibu, Atiku said there was no going back on reversing fuel subsidy removal, stressing that he would support domestic refining and production with measurable performance-based exit conditions built from day one. Let me come back to you, Mr. Yusuf Muhyiddin. 2 conflicting statements, 2 different aides, 1 person.
Yeah, the Yoruba have a proverb. What I'm saying is that Atiku Abubakar was one vice president and he was critical. He had a critical position. No vice president has been given that opportunity as Obasanjo gave him to be the head of Nigerian economic team.
Yes.
When we came into this democracy, Atiku has all the opportunity to rearrange the Nigerian economic space. Even this subsidy was skyrocketed under his watch. The corruption in the subsidy regime get to the climax when Atiku was in charge of the economy. So, and if you have 8 years to solve a problem and you make it worse, I don't know how you can come back and say you want to now bring out
well,
subsidy.
The excuse might be that he wasn't really the helmsman.
Let me tell you.
From 1999 to 2007, he was merely a vice president.
It cut the short. Obasanjo was traveling to redeem Nigerian image. Obasanjo is in Spain today. He was in London. During his time, Atiku Abubakar was like a de facto president because the much of the first tenure, the absence of Olusegun Obasanjo. You see that in the United States. We just came out of military era. We need to do a rebranding and image making. That's why Obasanjo took the international community. And coming from a background as a former president, and he has many international contacts, Obasanjo, he went out and made sure that he debuts. And Nigeria is now in democracy. He's trying to rebuild Nigerian image so that we can get favor from all over the world. Yeah. Atiku was in charge of the economy, is the head of it. What we have today, the refinery, for the 8 years, the refinery did not work under his watch as the head of the economic team. Now, saying that he will bring back subsidy, let's look at what subsidy removal has been able to do for us. Now, me and you know about NEL Fund. At least 1.4 million students are on that. If you bring back subsidy, it will stop that. I just mentioned the road across Lokoja down to Kaduna with street lights and concrete pavement that can last 50 years without you having to come and patch any pothole on it.
Yes.
Asiwaju is using the money from subsidy removal to get that done. We have the Calabar, Badagry, Sokoto is on course. If you bring back subsidy, you won't have money to do that.
Now the former vice president is arguing that Nigeria is rich enough to look after the welfare of its citizens.
He didn't do it
Are we rich enough or not? That's one question. Secondly, he also said that restoring subsidy will help put our purchasing power back in the hands of Nigerians. Because at the moment, fuel is over 1,000 naira, about 1,200, 1,300 naira per litre, prior to the inception of this administration in 2023. Yeah. In fact, on the morning, or on the eve, rather, of the swearing-in of President Bola Tinubu, fuel was selling here in the Federal Capital Territory for 197 naira per litre. I still remember because I bought fuel the night before the swearing-in. Yeah. So, if we return to the days of fuel subsidy, don't you think that Nigerians will have better purchasing power, and this will in turn have a ripple effect even in our businesses and put that stability back in micro, small, and medium enterprises in the country that have been suffering due to the advent of the removal of this fuel subsidy?
You see, if you are not informed, they say you are deformed. Subsidy that we are operating is opaque.
How?
Okay. There was a time NMPC was not remitting a dime to the federal government because they were saddled with the responsibility of paying subsidy. This is a multinational corporation in the likes of Aramco, in the likes of Petrobras, in the likes of Total Fina Health. How much is Total Fina Health remitting a yearly to the French government? How much is Aramco remitting to the Saudi government every year? Now, we have a time because of this subsidy. The claim that the NMPC told Nigeria that is being paid on subsidy was about 100 million litres per day. That we are consuming 100 million litres every day.
As a nation.
As a nation. When the subsidy was removing, we are not doing up to 50 million litres today. So the corruption inherent in that subsidy regime is not something we can go back to. Even Atiku Abubakar knows in his inner heart that...
Mr. Yusuf, speaking to this corruption you're talking about, let's marry it together with the statement made by the presidential candidate of the NDC, talking about Peter Obi. He actually made mention of the fact that if brought into power, he actually will sustain this subsidy removal. But that the issue that Nigeria has is with mismanagement. Now you talked about corruption and how Atiku Abubakar was not able to manage his 8 years judiciously to actually aid the livelihood of the poor masses. Now, talking about mismanagement, do you think that the statement of Peter Obi is correct, given that now the subsidy has been removed, still the common man still cannot see the benefits or the dividends of democracy via this purchasing power we are talking about?
You see, if you are talking from opposition angle, I will take it. But if you are talking from the realistic angle, I will tell you, the student in the Nigerian university...
You can talk from both angles.
Now, the student in Nigerian university today knows, are they not children of common man? They are being given stipend of 20,000 every month. as a result of removal of subsidy. This is money that go into the big shots and in the past. Their school fees have been paid, 1.4 million of them. I talk about the road. Common man that still ply that road. Today, we have freed the oil sector. Why Atiku cannot bring back the subsidy? There is a law, the PIB bill, passed that Nigeria should operate a privatized oil sector. For you to bring back that subsidy regime, you must repeal that particular law. For that law to be passed, let me come down. We are trying to educate the public. Okay. For that law to go into, be passed under the Bukola Saraki-led Senate presidency, it took more than 4 Senates before that law can be repealed because of how opaque the petroleum industry is in Nigeria and how they fought to see that the old order remain, the subsidy regime remain. It was even that law that repealed subsidy because you want to have an open market. Let me give you an instance. There are more than 5 modular refineries coming up. Bua is already on 70-80% completion. If you want to do business and make gains from the oil sector, and Nigeria will be placed in the right place in the oil sector, those refineries must have a free market. And in a free market economy, you can't be subsidizing the product because the government doesn't have money to pay. And the moment the subsidy regime will return, those refineries will go down. So more than 20,000 professionals are working in that sector.
Can we be more practical in talking about the deliveries of this present government and even compare it to the former? Now, if you look at 4 years ago, how much was housing? A self-contained before in Abuja was for 150, but currently it runs for 350 and above, a self-contained. Now, let's even look at the price of goods in the market. You just talked about NEL Fund, giving free resource to students in the universities, tertiary, and all of that. What about the parents that fend for their provision for food, clothing? How much do they buy these things in the market? You're only talking about a tiny piece in an ocean.
You see, if education is taken care of, at least you are building a future. If those 1.4 million students are out of school, do you know the adverse effect of such to the future of those wards? Let's leave that aside. What I'm trying to say is that the realistic analysis of the oil sector is that a free market economy does not allow for subsidy. And this PIB bill came to take care of that so that the oil sector will be transparent. If you have the wherewith to operate in that sector, you go in. Like we have the media, when there was a time there was a monopoly in the media. If we wake up in our houses, the only TV station you can watch is the NTA. But with the moment government granted license, everybody can operate and it's free for everybody to participate. We have, even the NTA is now challenged to live up to standard of those people that now came in later because we have a free market economy. Look at what Dangote is doing. Now, the NNPC is trying to play a catch-up to Dangote refinery. This is what subsidy has done to us. Is the era where our oil sector is kept aback. It was era of subsidy.
Mr. Yusuf Muhyiddin, let's take a look at what the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has boastfully been stating about the removal of fuel subsidy. You have mentioned some infrastructural projects, human capital development and whatnot that have been undertaken by the administration, the current administration, owing to the removal of fuel subsidy, which has put more money in the hands of the federal government.
And however, the state and the local government.
My question is, if the fuel subsidy removal had not happened, wouldn't the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu or the APC-led administration been able to do all of these things? That's one. Hold on to that. Secondly, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has always stated time and time again that with the removal of fuel subsidy, the federal government, state governments, and local government councils have been able to get more FAC allocations. And the last FAC allocation we saw stood at a staggering 47 trillion naira across the federal government, the 36 states of the federation, and the 774 local government councils. However, Nigerians continue to decry hardship, stating that state governors are merely enjoying the largesse coming from these increased FAC allocations and are not necessarily translating the increased allocation to increase, standard and better standard of living. Yeah. Let me just have you react to these two instances.
You see, when the administration comes in, and immediately the proclamation of oil subsidy removal,
yes,
a lot of things start getting in place. Aside the oil subsidy removal, the unification of exchange rates also come on board. We have never had a stable exchange rate that was consistent in the last 20 years, like this particular time that Atiku Abubakar Tinubu administration came in. Our exchange rate has not been fluctuating as it used to be in the past. Now, both oil sector reform and exchange rates ratings are interwoven. So in doing so, the president has always because most of our earnings is coming from the oil sector. And if you now need money to go outside, you need hard currency, you need foreign currency to go outside and make purchases of this crude, like what the subsidy regime wants us to sustain. The volatility in the exchange rate will continue, and it will have an adverse effect on the economy. Like the question you asked, if they had not removed oil subsidy, I can bet you 27 state governments were not able to pay salaries before the removal of oil subsidy.
Now, would you owe that to lack of FARC allocation, or would you owe it to the laziness of these state governments and their inability and incompetence to be able to run the state without humongous amounts of money being pumped through FARC allocations to the states?
I can give you an instance. Like before, when Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and maybe Lagos were able to stand on their feet,
yes,
without borrowings and without looking up to federal allocation. But today, that net has been widened. Niger State is coming up strongly. Enugu State is coming up strongly. Do you know that Abia State governor went for independent power? If there is no fund coming from the subsidy regime, the subsidy remover, can Abia State deem it fit to now go for an independent power program? So these are the things that I'm trying to let us know, that a lot has been achieved as a result of. Then there are some business you want to do. You need capital. State government like Nasarawa State now have 2 lithium factories set up within the span of 3 years as a result of subsidy, because the state was able to clear its debt by 93%, and they have more money to now go into investment. Now they have 2 biggest in West Africa, lithium processing, and this is the life wire of the future energy, because cars are now run on batteries, and lithium is a required material to run those batteries. So Nasarawa State now is championing the rest of West Africa alone in terms of lithium footprint. So these are the things that, as a result of subsidy removal, in Niger State, the governors, they are expanding the agricultural net. They have the biggest sheep butter.
Mr. Yusuf, if you're owing subsidy removal as the reason for which state governors are able to pay their pensioners and salaries of their state workers, and initially you mentioned privatization as one bedrock of our stabilized economy. Where does that now leave those who do not work with the government? Because there are a lot of Nigerians today, if you check the data, we do not have a lot of Nigerians who are employed by the federal government or even the state government. And if you remember correctly, there were equally states who were doing okay, doing well in payment of their salaries to their
state. I mentioned,
yes. So where does that leave the place of removal? How many % would you owe to the functionality of the removal of subsidy to the establishment of the well-being of state functionality?
Okay, let me give you infrastructure as an indices. The Niger State governor did 15 kilometers per local government. They have 25 local government. And the Niger State is an agrarian state where they have a lot of agri-produce. Before, bringing your produce to town became a problem as a result of infrastructure. Today, in Niger State, rural farmers can move freely to the nearest market where their produce will be bought as a result of the drive of the governor, doing 15 kilometers per local government. Now, those rural farmers, they are common people. They are not employed by government, but as a result of infrastructure, provision of infrastructure, these people will be taken care of. And I've cited the issue of industry. The government bring in money, like the shea butter in Niger State, the lithium, the gold refinery in Zamfara. Because of the money available to the state, they are able to partner with private. It's the common man that will be employed from the mining of this lithium to the processing. Is this the common man that will get employment in those places? Before, the employment rating of those states is very low. Yes, there are governors who they are not able to manage their resources properly. But by and large, with the removal of subsidy, and the government was able to create a discipline, the unification of forest regime also being stable, the forest regime being stable, has aided the stability of the government. And that's my own take as far as the other subsidy regime is concerned.
All right, let's still turn our attention to more matters in the news. Still staying with the oil and gas industry, this time around narrowing it down to the United States, hailing the demand for Nigerian oil on the international market. Now, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has been identified as the key driver behind a 7-fold increase in Nigeria's seaborne petroleum product exports since 2023, according to the latest report by the United States Energy Information Administration, EIA. The U.S. agency disclosed that Nigeria's seaborne petroleum product shipments averaged 561,000 barrels per day in the second quarter of 2026, a significant increase from the annual average of 79,000 barrels per day recorded in 2023. Now, of course, key points to note here: Dangote Refinery raised the petroleum export 7 times. Nigeria currently ships 561,000 barrels per day. Now, this was even just in the second quarter of 2026, and the U.S. agency is saying that more self-sufficiency in refined petroleum products is being experienced in Nigeria. Yeah. How is this news coming to you? Exciting?
Very exciting, because being this largest single train refinery in the world, it's already a pointer that Nigeria is on the rise. And it's not only the Dangote refinery; other refineries are still springing up.
But Dangote is the focus.
It takes the leads. What I'm just trying to say is that Nigeria can always get better. But then those people who want to take us back, we know have a field day going forward because of this a statistic that is glaring and looking at us in the face. There's one refinery in Imo, another one is coming up in Akwa Ibom, and the likes. When all those refineries spring up, all this, because oil is the mainstay of the Nigerian economy. So when we do more business in the oil and get revenue, our economy will be stable, and all other macro economies will be affected. Like when I'm talking about, yes, that is suffering in the land. There are so many years of corruption and of inefficiency. Then the decadence. When somebody comes to ill it, then there will be a lot of forth and back, and that's what we are experiencing. But we can just be patient. Even the optics and the system that is being involved by this government in terms of other macro like housing and the likes, that you can even get money if you are working to build your own house. All those things are coming up that in the long run will have an effect. Then even the price of food, the only thing is the purchasing power. But as it is today, is it groundnut, is it rice? The price has been stable for a long time. It's not like it's the way it used to be before. Before, when Christmas is coming, you'll be looking for rice as if rice is gold. All these things, like the Buhari-led administration was able to do that, to put Nigeria in the world map on rice production. And today we are benefiting from those. So, and Asiwaju-led administration in agriculture has sustained that momentum in agriculture. Today, the price of food is stable. But the problem is that we still need more companies to come up. Productivity is the hallmark of an economy. So what the United States is saying is not far from it. Nigeria is the trigger point of the growth of African economy. And with the policy of Asiwaju-led administration, I think we are moving in that direction.
You just made mention that the price of food has stabled.
Yes.
You might just want to rephrase by saying it as quite stable, because there is still inflation going up and down. Just a few hours in the news, we heard that the NNPCL has actually increased the price of petrol again. So what do you owe that to? And we're still talking about subsidy being removed.
The NNPC, as it is today, doesn't have the sole power to do that increase. And that's why we have Dangote. They are not controlling the Dangote market.
Now, that brings me to the question. Why does it look like, a lot of Nigerians are questioning the fact that it looks like the government does not have control over those privatized companies, talking about regulation of prices, so that the ordinary man can benefit. That's why we're talking about the microeconomy suffering, even though a lot is seen to be done in the macroeconomy. Do you want to speak to that?
See, even the NNPC itself is a private entity now. It will soon be they are supposed to have been in the stock exchange for you and I. If we have money, we can buy share into the NNPC, just like the Dangote of this world. So the PIBB has taken care of NNPC to be run, only that the government have some fraction of control and management. So if they put their own price at a particular price and Dangote put its own, I can choose to go to the Dangote filling station and buy my fuel. So the way our PIB bill is structured, the power to dictate the price is not solely with the NNPC presently. So the petroleum sector has been liberalized, and that's why the subsidy regime should not come back, so that the market, a lot of people can come into the market. I made mention of the media space. If I tune to a particular channel, 1, 2, 3, is not giving me what I want, I'll go to another channel. If I don't like the program, I'll go to, and that's why the way our oil sector should be operated in the nearest future, so that if there are so many players, if the monopoly is broken down, a lot of people can come into the sector and Nigeria will become vibrant for it.
Well, quite very strong points. Let's have one more discussion here on the program with Mr. Yusuf Ahmed before we let him out of the studio. Amnesty International is accusing the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of failing to secure the lives of Nigerians, saying that 10,217 people were killed by gunmen in the first 2 years of his administration. Now, the rights group says Benue, Plateau, and other states in the north-central part of Nigeria are topping the list, with hundreds of villages having been sacked. While this is a very controversial and dicey topic, Mr. Yusuf Muhyiddin, on one hand, it's important to note that indeed the daunting reality of insecurity in Nigeria is something that we cannot shy away from. Yeah. But secondly, it's also important to note that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has, in the last couple of months, shown tremendous efforts towards ensuring that there is a certain level of peace and sanity across the country. Yeah. And most recently, the order issued out to security forces to ensure the safe and swift rescue of abducted victims in Niger State. How do you react to this in just a moment before we wrap up?
You see, I've always said it that our governance space is structured in 3 layers: the local government, the state, and all the primary responsibility of government is security. So this affects both local government, the state, and the federal government. Is it that the military are not being procured under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Is it that the police are not being given their salary as at when due? Is it that all the equipment needed for the police to function appropriately are not given? Now, the president come in and said, okay, autonomy to the local government, so that the local government will have power to execute their primary function, which is security. Yeah. Over the years, you will know what happened to the local government funds in this country. Asiwaju is tackling that. Likewise, he is trying to structure the state police. In the first 3 years, Buhari was here, Goodluck was here, and Obasanjo was here. The state policing became a mirage. Today, we have a state policing will come up any moment from now. Asiwaju-led administration is trying to make sure taking the policing to the people. These are steps taken to make sure. Do you know that the president has decentralized the structure of the Nigerian army, taking critical infrastructure of Nigerian army, spreading it across the length and breadth of this country? Is Asiwaju-led administration. The Nigerian army is having a training school in Osogbo. They have other command in Akwa Ibom, making sure that the military presence is spread across the length and breadth of the nation. So these are critical things that the president is doing to make sure that the security architecture of this country is well taken care of. Likewise, the structuring of the commission into the Northeast, North Central, Northwest Development Commission,
all the development commission for regions,
so that the region, the power will be decentralized. And when the power and the governance space is decentralized.
But finally, do you think that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu could have done better to have dropped the number of casualties or deaths that we have seen in the first 2 years of his administration? over 10,000 people dying, you know, in the hands of non-state actors is quite alarming.
The insecurity has bedeviled our country for more than 15 years. It's just like a roller coaster that continues from Boko Haram to Fulani herdsmen to unknown gunmen to many then kidnapping and other things. But presently, what is the root cause is as a result of taking up governance from the root. Even in our little agric knowledge.
Could he have done better?
The little, he is doing all he can do based on the...
Could he have done better?
Nothing is perfect in life. So if you are scoring 60, you wish for 70.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming.
It's nice being here.
It's always nice having you on the program.